Hey, good morning, guys. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Frank asked a question about how I use the triangles and what they tell me, right? And so I want to just kind of go through it with him real quick. If you want to get a hold of me, this is how you get a hold of me. And this is more just a quick coaching tutorial for members in the room. So let's look at ES really quickly. We'll just use ES. So there's the importance of the triangles is it tells you where they are trying to change direction, right? But they show up all over the place. You're like, well, wait a minute, there's 50 million of them. So I'm going to go through it really quickly with you, okay? So what you will notice in general and not specifically, right, is that when you get a triangle and it beats the triangle, the potential's there for it to go to the downside, right? So you get a triangle down, they beat it on the other side, and it goes. So actually, the first thing I would say is the triangle in the direction of the trade is not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the triangle in the opposite direction of the trade because when that tells me that they shoved a lot of energy in, and if they beat that triangle, the market tends to go the other way. So I use it as a contra indication for what I'm looking for, right? So I'll show a couple of real-time examples from yesterday. If I'm looking to see where the market will reverse and trend lower, right? As I'm watching the market go up, like let's say, for example, on this rip up here, right? I know in a general way that I have to beat this bar, right? I literally need a point of control below that bar to get the market to release to the downside. And you'll see as it went up here that there is no, as we're going through here, right? It has an inability to close back below the triangle. Now this one's interesting, right? Because it comes up and you get the triangle right at the top, right? You put a line underneath it, and you'll see when you get the orthodox close underneath, it then falls away. Again, I'm doing this in a general way and not specifically how I trade it. I actually get quite particular with the point of control, and what I'm actually looking for, again, is to get the point of control, the price to close below the bar with the triangle up, and the point of control below the point of control of the bar with the triangle up. Let me say that again slowly. What I'm looking for is for price to close below the bar that has the triangle up on it, or vice versa if it's a down triangle. And then I'm also looking for the point of control in that bar to be below the point of control of the triangle up, right? So in this example, I'm cheating and just going to the easier setup, right? I'm going, okay, here's a triangle up, here's the orthodox close below. But if I was getting nitpicky with it, which I do once I'm trading, I'm actually going to, is the point of control of the bar that closes underneath the up triangle bar below the point of control of the up triangle and prices below that bar, right? And what you'll see is when that happens, right, the market falls away. Okay, so that's one way I use it. So let me go through several examples of that. Okay, you will see here. I'm not going to use it early trading because it was pretty jammy in there, but still you can see if you go through it slowly, right? See how this is here. Okay, it's actually this bar that tells me we're probably reversing. The point of control and price both get above the point of control and price of this down triangle, right? You'll notice this up triangle, the price and the point of control never get below it. As we come up, you get an up triangle here. You'll see when price and point of control get below, which occurs right here, it then goes lower. Again, I do not trade this like this. I use it as a guideline, right? So I'm watching, and even in this situation, I know if price and point of control, which occur on this bar, get above it, we are probably going up, right? And so I'm using it strategically. Like I'm looking for where's the turn going to come, and what I want is these triangles tucked up way up high, like up here. I like this. Okay, so when it's tucked up like this, price and point of control get below, we fall lower, right? So you can see the reason why I don't trade it is because I don't always trade it this way, or I don't actually use this as an entry signal, is because you're quite late on entering the trade in terms of the average rotation size of the market. And therefore, I do not advocate entering on that trade. You can, but it doesn't leave you with much wiggle room. You have to know that the market's really going to expand, and that trade doesn't work for me, right? What does work for me, right? So let me give you a way that I would use this. This is a 3-bar combo on ES, right? I get pink bar, neutral bar, then star down. On ES, not NQ, that is a good combination, right? So, wow, let me see how okay. So I would enter here and I would be short, right? With a normal target down here. But I know if I get price and point of control below here, as I did on this bar, that I have a very good chance of getting a further extension to the downside, right? And then let's take this sequence right over here at 8:59, 9 o'clock, right? Same thing. So this is a normal setup, right? Purple bar, point of control above. It does lift, but it fails, right? So you maybe got a scale, then it got stopped out. But you'll notice when it failed, it gave you this red triangle down, right? I then get the same setup. Purple bar, POC above. I'm long right here. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go, hey, if I get POC and price above this bar, right? So let me show you which bar I'm talking about so we're all totally clear. So I'm long on this bar, right? I'm long on this bar. We'll make that bar green. Okay, so you can see it easily. And then I have the triangle down, so I'm watching this bar. We'll leave that white. And so this is the bar right here. We'll put it red. This is the bar that gets both the point of control and price above the down triangle. So now I know that I have a good chance of lifting. So as you go through this, if you go through piece by piece, what you will notice is when that occurs, right, you have a better chance for extension. So if you wanted to increase the odds that you're going to get a larger roll, right, so this would go down into things I'd like to see as I'm trading, is that you want your normal setup. Like, for example, if I was looking at these trades and I had to make a decision, right, and so we already know that pink bar star is strong, pink bar in either a 2-bar or 3-bar combination. So if I had to pick a trade that I wanted to take that I thought, oh, this would up the odds of the trade working, is I want to look, and as I'm looking for these combinations, like, for example, let's pretend, so this is fine because this is pink bar, this is a power bar trap, right? Pink bar over here, pink bar star, pink bar trap back in. That's a power bar trap. It's a very good setup, right? But what I'm looking for also is, hey, where's the triangle within that? Because I'm going to eyeball that. And I know once I get underneath that, I have a very good chance of getting an extension down. I can also use it defensively because I know if I don't see on those big extensions down, if I don't get a triangle to the downside, I know it's very hard to get a lift. So you have to stay pretty cognizant of that, right? Because you end up with a 3-bar combination that does pay you. And that is why when you get a triangle down that gets immediately stuffed, if you get above it, that is why they lift so nicely. So these bars where it gets triangle down, right? Triangle down star, that's a powerful setup, right? And as soon as you have this bar, you usually know you're going to shoot to the other side of the range, even when it was heavy sell pressure like that. And what you'll notice is when you don't have a down triangle somewhere near the bottom, it's harder to get the lift. So you'll see over here, even if I took this purple bar star, I know I've got to clear this, right, on price and this on point of control to go higher. And that is why yesterday when I went long ES the second time, right, and we get this triangle down star, I know once we're here and I had other elements, right, like we had a head and shoulders that had developed over here, and I was able to say, hey, we're probably going up from here. And that's why I was able to hold that whole trade from, I believe I entered 47 and I exited 59 or 60, somewhere right in here is where I closed it out. So I believe it was 60. I may be wrong on the exact exit. But I exited in the last 10 minutes of the day. I closed it down. That's how I was able to exit that trade. So that's how I use the triangles. The triangle going the other direction is good, but it doesn't tell me nearly as much information as getting above the triangle that was going in the direction I'm trading against, right? Because I know I have someone jammed there on that triangle. So I hope that helped, Frank. 10-minute video. Talk to you later. Have a great day, guys.